All right, hi, hello there, YouTube. Welcome back, and happy New Year. Hope you had a hope you've had a great start to your New Year. If you've been playing some Path of Exile 2, hope you've been having a good time. Choose that right there. I just clicked back into the window, but here we are. It's been a while since I've made a Path of Exile 2 video, and per usual, what it feels like every single league, I make some kind of really weird and kind of out of the ordinary warrior build, and here we are. This league is no different. I have this character, and I have one other character I would like to make a build on, or a build video on. So here we are, and it's good to be back. But yeah, this is so as you see, level 85, more plant than brain, Warbringer, and very specifically, we are doing plant skills. Hence the name. We're doing a bunch of plant skills. We have Overgrowth with our Thunderstorm. We are also using Spell Totem that also has an Entangle in it. And then we have Thrashing Vines for our single target situation. And that's our whole setup, realistically. If you want to take a quick look at the tree, this is what we are. As you can see, I've only done 3 labs right now. I mean, I'm level 85. So realistically, still had some, like, room for improvement, room for moving around. I was making my way over towards Spiral into Depression, which is both an incredibly good mood and also a good little node right there. So that's kind of where I was progressing on the tree. Outside of that, probably just a bit more crit and maybe a little bit more damage elsewhere, maybe some area of effect. I forget entirely what I was doing as far as like other things, but regardless, yeah, here we are. And this build has been a lot of fun and surprised me in a really good way. If you're wondering why in particular we're going Warbringer, it is because we are breaking armor equal to 10% of the hit damage dealt, which we're using Entangle. And then we can break enemies' armor to below 0. So our plants are breaking armor. They break armor really quickly, and then they also break armor to below 0. And so let's just kind of do some really good damage with that. When I initially played this, my intention was to play this purely as a totem build. That wound up just like not really feeling necessary, honestly, or like you know, I have like the totem there as like additional damage, but keeping it there as like a fully totem-centric build just didn't feel like the play. But we do have +1 max totem here. I usually don't play too far into the end game of any character, hence why I'm making this video at level 85 and only at 3. In Path of Exile 1, I would play for a lot longer before I would really get to that point. But unfortunately for me, when it comes to the end game of Path of Exile 2, it's better, it's decent nowadays, but it does, like, I go down the rabbit hole for a little while, and then I just kind of go, and I start a new character, because that's just usually what happens. But anyway, we're just going to kind of run a map. As you can see, I just have tier 13s. This is the map that we're going to be running. We're going into a little corrupted zone over here, potentially. There we go. We're just going into our corrupted zone. I forgot to put tablets in there, so we're not running it with tablets. Yeah, we'll just do this map, and then I'll kind of go over the actual character and all that kind of good stuff with builds and items and all that kind of good jazz. So off we go to the races. But yeah, the general play idea here is just kind of like run around and you're using our regular Entangle. We have a self-cast Entangle that we're doing to generate power charges and initially start the armor break. And then after that, we have Entangle, or we have Thrashing Vines for any big single target. We put our totems out, and then we have our Thunderstorm that we're also putting out just to overgrow our vines consistently. Holy! Okay, that was a lot of damage. I think I got shotgunned a little bit right there. But yeah, and that's kind of our whole shebang. We run around, we cast our Thunderstorm, we cast our Entangles, and we cast our Totem. And then big targets get Thrashing Vines. And that's kind of our whole deal. And it is really fun. I thoroughly enjoy like any kind of weird warrior build, honestly. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why in particular just like doing weird things with warrior has been the thing that like consistently stands out to me as some of the most fun to do, but it really is. I really have a ton of fun doing these kinds of setups and everything. Oh man, what boss is here? Is this gonna be the duo witches or something? I actually don't know. I don't remember what bosses are in what maps at all anymore. We also get to be this build is reasonably tanky. And also, it's still missing a lot. I'll kind of go over items. I'll go over items, and like there are some really big upgrades that could still be made to the character. in general, for sure. Ow. These guys shotgunning me. I forgot how bad those guys are like really bad when they have extra projectiles. It is the duo fight. Oh, but yeah, there's a lot of gear upgrades that could still be made to this character, and a lot of things that could still happen. Ooh. I do also like, as much as like the totems don't necessarily like the totems are good sources of more damage and everything, but it is nice also having the minions that come out from the totems as well actually provide a pretty nice bonus as they pop out. Wait, who's still alive? Is someone still alive right here? Why didn't this open up? Hello? Alright, I guess that's just not opening up for me. Never mind then. Whatever. Fine. I didn't want that anyway. I didn't want to look inside the chest for the temple anyway. Temple is something I've kind of been... I engage with it kind of irregularly, truthfully. Truth be told. It's like reasonably fun. I probably like it more than I like Temple in Path 1, because I really don't care for Temple in Path 1. So I probably like it more than that, but it's still not my favorite. Oh, and Lightning Shrine. Yo, let's go, more experience. Woohoo! As much as I would do that strongbox as well, I'm kind of just trying to... Oh. Alright. There we go. Oh, right, these guys with extra prod is kind of scary, too. Got him. Ooh! Woo! Alright. There she goes, and there she goes. Alright, cool. Reasonably not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, the damage, could it be faster? Of course it could, but reasonably not bad there. Also, I almost absolutely got cooked right there. My bad. No, it's great. We're doing them a strongbox, and then I'll go back to town and we'll start this up. Hey, hopefully it looks interesting to you. This build it truly is a lot of fun. I honestly think that the plant skills are really cool in general, or at least these ones that they added. I like the idea of overgrowing them, and they're solid skills as is, honestly. These are skills where I could honestly see them coming into Path of Exile 1, and I think it would be fairly like reasonable or easy to do that. And they could be, and there would be some kind of like fun bonuses, I think, in Path 1. You'd probably be able to do some wacky stuff in Path of Exile 1 with these skills. But anyway, there we go. Quick-ish map. And we'll just kind of go, I'll go into itemization, or I'll go into the, no, not items first. We'll go tree first. We'll go tree first, then items, then gems, and all that kind of good stuff. So tree first. Now, what I did when I leveled, ascendancy-wise, was Anvil's Weight into Imploding Impacts, into the Answered Call, and that's also mostly because you can sort of get enough spell totem stuff. You know what, let me grab a gem out right now as well, because I don't remember what level you can all get some stuff out. You can get the spell totem pretty early on, I believe. Yeah, it's a tier 7, so you get it realistically pretty early on, but you need to be able to consistently generate some amount of charges. And you can generate endurance charges realistically easily with Brutality 3, I believe, or no, Armor Break 3, that's what it is. You can realistically generate endurance charges and start using the totems probably right around the same time that you get to the point of tier 7s, and you can start doing that. But I truthfully didn't really... It was fine, but you have to build a bit too much into the totems at that point, so I kind of preferred to take this last. And I just took the armor break and breaking it to below 0, because that's a really good damage bonus that we get, and that's kind of where a lot of our damage is going to be stemming from. For 4th lab, realistically, I would probably take... I don't know how awkward this thing feels. maybe Encased Jade would be a good thing to take. I think it'd be Encased Jade or Wooden Wall. Or if you manage to somehow feel like you have a ton of damage and you don't really need more damage out of like a focus, and you instead went with a regular shield, then you could absolutely take Renly's Training here instead, just to get more block, and go that route, and I think that would be completely fine. But for me personally, I might try Jade Heritage. I will try to get this character to 4th Ascend, but I just want to make the video first. But I will try to get this character to 4th Ascendancy, and then it'll probably be, I'm going to try Jade Heritage, and if it feels awkward, then I'll swap to Wooden Wall. As much as like the totems aren't the tankiest thing in the world as I have them set up right now, they are still good little soaks for you. And we're putting them out consistently enough that that's still a good thing to be having. But otherwise, yeah, otherwise we're just traveling a lot. We're taking some of the totem nodes here. Take these nodes later once you actually start using totems. And I have Supportive Ancestors here. And with along the cast speed, I will be taking Ancestral Reach as well, so it would basically be my next levels would be Spiral into Depression into Ancestral Reach. But otherwise, yeah, we're getting crit nodes because of course we need crit for the sake of Vol's Protector. I'll go over that a bit later, but we need some crit, so we get crit nodes here. We have some more armor break over here. This also gives us a chance to defend with more armor. We have another totem node right here, gives us more cast speed. I did come over here and take Splitting Ground just for the additional Fissure. It's pretty nice, honestly. Just having more area with our plant skills, I think, is good. If you don't feel like going all the way over here, I still think Projectile Bulwark is probably also decent, and maybe even taking Prism Guard for armor applying to elemental damage. We do at least get a decent amount of of armor, so reasonably taking that is pretty good. But that's what I have down here, getting Iron Slippers just for the sake of actually this does nothing right now. I think I recently replaced the boots on this character. So this reasonably does nothing now, but I would say just get yourself some high energy shield boots with some move speed, throw those on, and then get and then have energy shield boots on instead of these. So ignore this reasonably for yourself. Get energy shield boots, make sure that they're high value with some move speed and stuff, and then take this instead. Cruel Fate over here, again, more crit damage. Increased skill effect duration is also something very nice. We could conceivably take Chronomancy here for more skill effect duration and debuffs, giving them, we'd be able to slow enemies even more. And that's mostly because I would say once you kind of start early on, your early on goal is probably to get up here to like these wasting cast incantation stuff, and then over here into like the plant nodes, and then in these crit, and then taking Wild Surge Incantation. Makes our plants deal 50% more damage, they cost a bunch less, but they have a 75% reduced duration. Realistically, it's not that big of a deal. We're casting Thunderstorm pretty consistently anyway, just to kind of get more of the, as we move along, we're casting plants, we're casting Thunderstorm. So reasonably, just having those out is fine. And we want our plants to deal as much damage as possible. And we recast them so much, and we have our totems casting them so much, that it's kind of fine that they have less duration. That is a-okay. And then up this way, actually, you might be able to get rid of Mind Eraser. I want to say at the time, because I didn't have this, I actually might have raced up here and taken this first. It's been a while. I might have raced up here and taken these two nodes first, but realistically with this, you could probably drop Mind Eraser, but maybe try it out if your mana situation feels really bad, then put Mind Eraser on as well. But Aspiring Genius is really good. We are dealing crits frequently enough, and to get Arcane Surge, and then we can take Arcane Nature for more spell damage, more area of effect while we have Arcane Surge, which should be essentially always, once we have enough crit going. Up here, we're taking 10% damage as extra fizz damage. That's just more damage per damage. These are all plant nodes as well. And then Fissure skills have +1 to limit, which plant skill is in fact a limit skill, so we just want to do that just to get as many of them out there as we possibly can, because I think Entangle, yeah, limit 9 Fissures is how that works, so... the other node over here is Overgrown Plants break 50% increased armor. I'll be honest, we don't need that. We break a lot of armor as is between being a Warbringer and having this node over here and being full fizz and everything, that we really don't need to worry about this. So I would say don't even really consider this node. This would just be like, it's fine, but I don't think you need to worry about that whatsoever. And then we come up here for some more crit desensitization, also very nice, reducing the critical damage bonus when you do take a crit. And then I went over here for critical overload as well. Once again, we're just kind of getting crit. Also, this guy right here, direct approach. Important to note, we are in fact not afflicted. If you're in a high enough level, We are actually not afflicting enemies with any elemental ailments, and I would actually recommend not leveling up Thunderstorm, because you don't need Thunderstorm to be leveled in order for plants to be overgrown, right? Like, the plants don't need to, you don't need to level it for the sake of overgrowing your plants. It could do that as just a baseline thing, but it can't drench enemies above level 74, which is actually good, because then we're getting, we aren't affecting them with ailments, because if you drench them, then they might get shocked by the lightning, and that might let them, that might enable them to get shocked, and then you won't be getting more critical hit chance against them. I think there's still a chance that happens, but it's a far less chance to, that's a far less chance to happen because they aren't being drenched, as long as they're in a high enough area. So highly recommend kind of just not leveling Thunderstorm. Also, again, we don't need it to cost much mana, because we really aren't using it. Like, we don't need to, like, outside of spamming it for this, we aren't using Thunderstorm for its damage or for the drench effect. We're just wanting it to overgrow plants. So just keep that at a low level. That's all you really need to do as far as that goes. And then, yeah, build into some totem stuff. Battle Fervor over here as well for skill speed and fizz damage is good. And yeah, that's kind of the tree. Like I said, I would take Spiral into Depression here. I would get some different boots for Iron Slippers. Take Ancestral Reach as well, just for more speed. And outside of that, you're kind of go wherever you want with it. I think if you wanted to, you could maybe even take Sacrificial Blood. Like, you might want to respec a little bit if you were to go that route, but you reasonably could. You could take some of, like, the Aura skill stuff here. Aura skills have increased magnitudes, but they don't affect allies. Well, we have allies, but it doesn't matter that much that they don't be affected by it. So reasonably, you could go that route as well. But with that, we'll go into gear. So pretty simple stuff. Reasonably all fairly simple. Like I said, this build does need more gear. I like started and got this player to this point, and then made a decent amount of money, and I started making another character, and it kind of just hit me recently where I was like, you know what, I want to make a build. I want to make a video for this character before I go too far. But reasonably, this character does need some way better gear, honestly. But we're looking for critical hit chance for spells, critical damage with spells, level of physical, cast speed, flat spell damage, spell physical damage. All that kind of stuff is really what you're looking for. So this thing is, it's fine. It's not terrific, but it's fine. I think I bought this for literally just like some amount of exalts, maybe like 20, 30 exalts or something. Nothing crazy. It's it could definitely be upgraded and could definitely go a lot further. Same with the focus over here. Focus, spell damage, spell physical damage, whatever stats and resistances you need. Flat spell damage plus levels to skill gems as well as spell gems is also going to be very big. So that's kind of all that you're looking for on a focus, and then obviously energy shield as well. So we can squeeze more damage out of that. Again, if you want to squeeze more tank into it and instead just wear a regular shield, that's also completely fine. Amulet-wise, critical hit chance, plus levels of skill gems, life, just, you know, very generic stuff here. Just keep it simple. I allocated Spirit Bond on this, which is this guy, Totem Life, Totem Duration. I noticed that the totems were dying fairly regularly, but I didn't want to put the, what is it, Urgent Totems or the Totem Life node on there. I wanted to lean into damage harder, so I wound up just speccing that just for the sake of giving them a little bit more life, try to let them tank up at least a little bit. And as your totems gain levels, they also get more resistances like you see there, and they'll also get a bit more life as they go on as well. So that's what I have there, but reasonably, again, life, resistances, crit, levels. Those are the things that we're looking for. Crit levels, or crit, resistances, whatever else from your hat. Try to get it bigger and tankier than this one. Also, you can see, like, again, this is like stuff where it's like I have not upgraded this in a while. Critical damage bonus here is also good, and I just have some cast speed and some other stuff. So again, just do what you want. Rings, you can get cast speed on rings, so I'd say look for a ring with cast speed, life, and resistances on both sides, and then probably just flat increased physical damage, and that's kind of all you're looking for there. Bolt Protector is sort of our big enabler for our totems, and that is if you want to go with power charge totems in particular. If you're using power charge, if you want to use power charges and you want to get power charge totems going, then Vol's Protector is kind of just the best way to do it, honestly. The vines hit really often, so even with not the most insane amount of crit, which actually, what is our crit chance? 44%. That's actually still pretty good. But even if you don't have the most insane critical hit chance, they hit so frequently because every tick can count as a critical hit, which then will allow us to kind of generate a power charge for ourselves. So it'll let you generate power charges really quickly and ramp onto that. So this is kind of a big enabler if you want to go the power charge route, because totems can be used with either endurance charges or power charges, but power charges lets him deal more damage. So hence why I wanted to lead into that. So we're using Vol's Protector here. Vol's Protector, pretty decent chess piece, and this is just what I have socketed into it as well. Reasonably, you could get a one with a better corruption on it, or something with any corruption on it, and that would also be nice. But this is what I am using as the enabler. Boots, again, like I said, get yourself some big energy shield boots with some just, you know, probably you could put life on them for sure, but otherwise just try to get as much energy shield as you can, whatever resistances you need, and then move speed, and there you go. Belts are probably the most unexciting thing in the game, honestly, as far as stats go. So life, armor, and then just resistances. I think that's literally all you can get. Critical damage bonus over here, and then just resistances, life, energy shield, whatever else there. Fairly simple stuff on the gearing, honestly. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. But still, for me, where my character is right now, lots of upgrades to potentially be made. Yeah, and then I guess we'll go into the gems now. So gem-wise, so we have Ancestral Spirits, of course, that comes from our totem node over here, grant skill Ancestral Spirits. We can just kind of give them more duration, minion mastery, brutality, and culling strike, just so, hey man, if they hit something and they cull it, then cool. They have culled the enemy, so that's kind of just like a nice little bonus setup. The prolonged duration is just because I want to say it's the guy with the horn, the duder. I'm pretty sure if he doots you, then that will make the buff that he grants you from that better. Also, I think it'll make the impale from the caster last longer. Something like that. So, reasonably, just kind of a decent setup overall. Power Siphon is literally just from the wand, so I'm ignoring it. But then, yeah, so we have Spell Totem here. Of course, we have an Entangle that is in here. That's what it's casting. Accelerated Growth 2, just to make... And actually, I actually wonder if Accelerated Growth is really worth running, but it does deal more fizz damage. It probably is worth, honestly. It's just an extra pop. It's the purple, like these purple explosions that you see right here. It's that. So reasonably that, it gives you more damage, and it blinds enemies, which the blinding enemies, I'm pretty sure will do literally nothing for us. But the accelerated growth part of it, just as far as dealing more damage, is nice. Brutality 2 or Brutality 3, either way, whatever. I think Brutality 3 lets you ignore physical resist, but realistically then we break their armor so fast that then they don't have any armor in general. Either way. Physical Mastery, of course, and Branching Fissures 2. That's just to give us more area of effect, get more of those fissures out, and it will... It more than enough makes up for the less damage that you have from it. Thrashing Vines here is our single target. So Physical Mastery, Accelerated Growth 2 again, Brutality 3, and Heft from this, just for more damage. If I were to put another one in here, man, I don't know. I can't remember what all. I can't remember what's all would be good. Yeah, I mean, you already have Physical Mastery in here. Oh wait, that's Entangle. Thrashing. I mean, I already have all that in there. Heft, Brutality, Accelerated Growth, Physical Mastery. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could go Daze. Daze would be nice, just to stun enemies a bit faster. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably a number of like other things I'm not really thinking about actively, but you could certainly get a couple other even better mods in here, or maybe you could even throw bleeding in here. Although that is melee fizz. I don't know. Or I guess it'd be bleed 3 instead of this. Yeah, I would say you could do bleed 3. Bleed 3 would do pretty good. I think bleeding is another package that could fit into this setup or into this character archetype or plant skills overall pretty well, because we're going pure hit and crit, but you could probably go fizz, bleed, and go that kind of route instead, and would also be in a good spot. Thunderstorm here, magnified area, just more area. Pinpoint critical, this was just, actually I don't even need this anymore, honestly. Entangle crits enough as is. I was using this initially just to help further spin up the power charges so that we could start putting our totems out, and then rapid casting. That's all that really matters. We don't care about Thunderstorm from a damage perspective whatsoever. We just want it to overgrow. So you could probably even put Overabundance on this, but it does make the skill effect last even less, so you'd probably have to cast Thunderstorm more, potentially. Give or take, up to you. The other Entangle here that we are self-casting, this has Branching Fissures, Accelerated Growth, again, Rapid Casting, just, again, we're trying to get that out. Pinpoint Critical, because, again, we're just trying to get out as many power charges as we possibly can to spin up into the totems. And then this is one I discovered very recently, which is Uruk's Smelting. So fully breaking armor with supported skills causes affected targets to permanently take 5% physical damage up to 20, and they break 70% more armor. So realistically, we're going to be breaking armor faster. And then we cause them to take more physical damage, and we can ramp that up even harder. So reasonably just another very good thing if you have if you're doing a boss fight or anything that has a bit more of an extended duration, where you can even be breaking their armor and then resetting it and then breaking it again. Well, then now they're taking 10% just increased permanent physical damage from your skills. So reasonably, very, very solid additional little gem here that I found out very recently. So very nice. Scavenge Plating over here. Prolonged duration. Oh, I hadn't seen a spirit gem in a long time. Anyway, Scavenge Plating, just for the more armor. That's reasonably all that we want it for, and the prolonged duration here, of course. Iron Ward is actually the way that I am currently. It's the way that I'm using. This is actually the way that I have set up to reset a target's broken armor. And the reason for that is because if I put it on anything else, like if I put it on the spirits or anything else, maybe if you had like a spell, if you had like a wand spell and you wanted to cast that yourself from time to time, if you had like one of the bone wands or whatever, and you wanted to put it there to reset broken armor that way, I think that would be fine too. But I mean, obviously right now I have Power Siphon. But Iron Ward is the way that I'm using to reset it, and obviously we want to reset it because that will let us break armor to get Scavenger Plating back to 10 stacks again, or keep the duration going. And then also now with Uruk's Smelting will now let us continuously use his damage. So as you, if you don't know what this does, it basically just like, as you take damage, you get these like, if you watched my map, I had like a little ring of blades around me essentially. That's what it looks like. And then when you activate it, it shoots those blades out and deals damage in a pretty big area. And then we're using Exploit Weakness just to make sure that it consumes break armor on those targets for us, and then we can immediately start applying break armor back to them again. And then I'm using Bark Skin because we have Energy Shield. I'm also just using Clarity for the sake of that. I was gonna say I don't have any additional spirit outside of that, so I think that was the only reason I even have Clarity here as well. But yeah, we're just using Bark Skin just because if we get hit, then we gain armor equal to 38% of the energy shield loss. So just a pretty good little bonus for us. Overall, just anything to further increase our tankiness, anything to further make ourselves a little bit thicker in the heat of combat. I think with that though, that's kind of all I have for this character. I feel like I over-yapped. It's been a while, so I'm kind of like trying to remember things that I went over in previous builds and everything. So I think that's all I got though for this character. Like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with this character. I guess 2 very quick notes before I wrap up here. Number 1, leveling. If you're leveling with this build, or with this skill in general, if you level and start off by just using Entangle at level 1, because it is a level 1 spell, and you can use it, the Act 1 Entangle was probably one of the worst leveling experiences I had, and it was very simply because of those enemies in Act 1. They're towards the Praetor graveyard area that have the shield, and whenever they take damage, or whenever you hit them in the shield, if they block the damage, then they shoot a projectile back out at you. Every single tick of Entangle will count as something that they have blocked and can't take damage from if you hit them in the front like that. So they will absolutely just machine gun rapid fire shooting projectiles at you, and it's really, really obnoxious to deal with. So I don't even know if Volcano would be better, but like I'd probably just say try to use maybe just use elemental skills for a little while, at least until like Act 2-ish. You know, try to do something else, honestly. I'm trying to think, maybe Unearth even. And just try to do something like that until you kind of at least get to like a little bit further on. I would say maybe until you get to Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm's reasonably early. You'd get that before you go fight the Act 1 boss, you could get this and then start overgrowing your plants, and that's where it kind of really started to feel like a good, a much better skill to run with. So that's what I recommend there. But yeah, I think that's it. Otherwise, I will have the POB for this character below. It'll be the top thing if you want to take a look at it. POB will be there. I reasonably don't know how... I don't think the damage is going to look very good or very fun from like a POB perspective. And that's because there's a lot of things that just don't work in there and that just don't exist. Like the overgrown mechanic is just not going to be in there. I think there's a lot of little mechanics like that and little things that are going to be in there that I think just are effectively don't exist in POB. So I think it'll look a lot worse than it actually is. But the build reasonably is very fun, very smooth to map with. The single target, like I said, if I had better gear, would be a lot better than what it is right now. But the single target is probably the thing that you have to work on. Otherwise, it's a very, very smooth, clear kind of build. And yeah, I think with that, that's all I have. So YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. If you've been playing a ton of Path 2, I know that I have this season around. I've been having a lot of fun. Despite whatever the people are talking about, the community and whatnot, or not the community, the economy of the game and whatnot, I've still been having a ton of fun. None of that really has ever applied to me. So anyway, I hope that you have a ton of fun continuing playing if you are. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. I'll have another build going out relatively soon. If you feel like following either my Twitch or my other channel, where I tend to put up a lot more of my whether it be variety gaming or just leveling through variety with these characters. Occasionally I'll have a video up over there. So I'll link both of those below. Hope you enjoy YouTube. Until I see you next time, stay sane out there, Exiles.